This is the third of 3 tutorials focused on requirements. First, we will look at the organizational factors to address in a requirements document. You should identify the entities or organizations that will be using the software. This includes a description of the authorized users and the quantity of licenses that will be needed. When you have an enterprise-wide requirement, it is important to have a coordinated demand management process that takes into account the entire organization's need for the products. This is generally coordinated by the Office of the CIO. Identify the geographic area where the software will be used. For example, will the software only be needed in one location in the United States or multiple locations around the country or world? Decide which is the best software implementation method for your organization. The most common implementations are a phased approach, piloting the software prior to a full install, or a complete installation without any sort of phasing in. Determine if transfer rights are needed to allow others in the DoD or federal government to use the software if you so choose. One situation where you might need to transfer the licenses would be if your end customer no longer need them due to mission reassignment or organizational disestablishment. Finally, identify the written and spoken language required for the software, documentation, support, and training. Next, we will cover functional considerations. In the functional section of the requirements document, you will identify the operational and transactional processes you need the software to perform. This should be written in a clear manner so the software company can tell you which applications and modules will meet your requirements. You should clearly define your maintenance needs after the software is ready for use. Will your needs be limited to the standard operability and usability of the software product via patches, updates, or upgrades? Or will your needs be more extensive, requiring solutions to user-identified issues? Next, we will cover technical factors in a requirements document. You should identify the environment or infrastructure in which the software will operate. For example, will you need a development database server? What about a staging or production web server and production database servers? Is your team considering virtualization or deploying the software to the cloud? The next key factor in a software acquisition is performance. Performance considerations can be broken down into 4 major elements. Be sure to provide supporting detail for each. The amount of uptime required for mission completion, the type of connectivity required, the acceptable security levels and incident response times, and the minimum recovery times for system outages. The final factor to address in your requirements document is your contractual requirements. Contractual factors encompass license grant, pricing, warranty, maintenance, and general provisions, all of which are covered in greater depth in other tutorials in the End User License Agreement series. Your requirements document should identify the contractual clauses, terms, and conditions that you expect the seller to accept. This will provide you the baseline for identifying, evaluating, and possibly quantifying any exceptions to clauses the seller notes in their proposal. The considerations we covered in the beginning of this tutorial are often consolidated into a Performance Work Statement, or PWS. When creating the PWS, acquisition teams should do the following. Focus on defining results, not describing processes or procedures. Conduct a thorough analysis of the requirements. Involve stakeholders early in the development and analysis process. Ensure the requirements accurately reflect the realistic budget environment, and stay abreast of current commercial practices and technology by performing in-depth market research, the results of which can help shape the requirement. Consider the following key questions when documenting functional requirements for a COTS project. First, what problem are you trying to solve? That is, what is your current condition? How did you get there, and how much time and money do you have to fix the problem? Second, what are the functional requirements of the ideal solution? In other words, what are your as-is and would-like-to-be capabilities? Third, what are your required outcomes and results? Fourth, what does your market research tell you about solutions to help solve your problem? Finally, how will you obtain the right solution or product? This last element is perhaps the most critical. The manner in which you determine how to obtain the right solution or product will ultimately serve as the foundation for evaluating, measuring, and accepting the solution when it is delivered. Thank you for viewing this tutorial. Please visit the DoD ESI website for more information and other videos in this series.